Picture this: a weapon so advanced that it can take down anything in its path with pinpoint accuracy, and once it's fired, there's simply no way to stop it. The US Navy has just admitted that they've created such a weapon, and it's all based on laser technology. But that's not all. There are some mind-blowing ships too. So, how does all of this work? Let's talk about these deadly weapons that we definitely want to stay away from. Are you ready to hear about the most expensive warship in history? The USS Gerald R. Ford has been deployed for the first time, boasting incredible new technologies and air power that exceed that of 60 nations. With a weight of 97,000 tons and powered by advanced nuclear reactors, this behemoth is like a city cruising past at 34 miles per hour. But here's the catch: new anti-ship missiles from China could make the Ford and the entire Pacific Fleet obsolete. These missiles can maneuver at hypersonic speeds, potentially wiping out even the most advanced ships sailing the oceans. It's like a high-stakes game of chess on the water. Will the Ford be able to hold its own against these new threats, or will it become a sitting duck? All we can say is we hope we don't have to find out anytime soon. But wait, it gets worse. There's a very chilling report that came out recently, and we don't think we're ready for it. A recent Congressional Research Service update paints a grim picture of the Navy's ability to defend against the anti-ship weapons of potential adversaries like China. With their rapidly expanding naval fleet and advanced hypersonic missiles capable of reaching speeds of up to Mach 10, China's intentions are clear. They want to repel American ships. The US Navy's latest ships, like the Ford class, have several defenses against missiles, but are they enough to protect against China's cutting-edge weaponry? China has even set up mock targets of US aircraft carriers in the Taklamakan Desert for practice. And with territorial disputes in the South China Sea heating up, the situation is more precarious than ever. But here's the real kicker. Even America's allies in the region rely on its naval presence to keep shipping lanes open, and the Navy simply can't defend itself against these new threats. The FA-18 Super Hornet and the F-35C Joint Strike Fighter are powerful, but they can only reach targets about 700 miles away. To stay ahead in the Pacific, the Navy is banking on a technology that was once only a fantasy: the laser. This high-powered weapon fires at the speed of light, making it nearly impossible for hypersonic missiles to outrun. It also reloads quickly and doesn't require ammunition, which could give the Navy an almost infinite firing capacity. The question is, can the Navy develop lasers powerful enough to counter China's anti-ship missiles in time? The Pentagon seems confident, having recently cancelled research on other promising weapons in favor of laser technology. But will it be enough to catch up to China's rapidly expanding fleet, which now outnumbers America's by more than 2 to 1? China's arsenal of advanced weapons, including long-range missiles like the DF-21D and DF-26, pose a serious threat to the US fleet in the Pacific. That's not all there is, though. The DF-21D, a 32,000-pound weapon, can be launched from the ground or heavy bombers, and its nuclear warhead can even maneuver mid-flight to ensure maximum damage. Meanwhile, the DF-26, standing over 4 stories tall, has an even greater range. But the cherry on top of China's missile arsenal is the DF-ZF, a hypersonic missile that can travel at Mach 10 and attack from over 1,500 miles away. Unlike its counterparts, the ZF remains incredibly maneuverable as it plunges towards its target, making it virtually impossible to intercept. Even the most advanced defenses of the US Navy would struggle to stop such a missile. As retired Navy Master Chief Don Garcia said, intercepting missiles in flight is one of the most complicated fire control problems that exists. But it gets worse. As we said before, there's something that could bring down even the US aircraft carriers. So, what is this new danger? It's a possibility that has been haunting naval commanders for decades. While China's hypersonic missiles pose a significant threat, they aren't the only danger. Anti-ship cruise missiles, fired in large numbers, can easily overwhelm a ship's defenses. And let's not forget about the possibility of long-range suicide drones, which could swarm a carrier group with deadly precision. The US Navy knows all too well the devastating impact of such attacks. In fact, history offers a sobering lesson. Take the case of Force Z, the British fleet that set out for the Malay Peninsula just 3 days after Pearl Harbor. Its mission was simple: protect Singapore from the Japanese. But what followed was anything but simple. Despite being armed to the teeth with powerful warships, Force Z was caught off guard by the destructive power of Japanese air power. Admiral Thomas Phillips, the fleet's commander, made a critical mistake by refusing to coordinate with the Royal Air Force for cover. As Japanese bombers swooped in, the fleet was forced to zigzag its way through a deadly hail of torpedoes. Some ships managed to dodge them, but others weren't so lucky. In the end, both battleships were sunk, leaving behind a grim reminder of the dangers of naval warfare. We can all agree that once upon a time, battleships were the biggest and baddest things on the ocean. The times have now changed, and now carriers rule the waves. However, carriers are facing a new kind of enemy: drones and high-speed missiles that can strike from the air. The Navy's biggest ships and most heavily armed destroyers can't defend against hordes of invaders raining down on them. So, what's the solution? The Pentagon believes it's all about harnessing the power of light. By exciting atoms with electricity, they can create photons that bounce between mirrors and become laser beams. These high-energy beams can track and target unpredictable weapons like China's hypersonic missiles better than conventional missiles. And the best part? They're cheap. Compared to the million-dollar defensive missiles, lasers only cost between $1 and $10 to fire. It's like turning energy into ammo, and it could be the key to rebalancing the battlefield. Isn't this laser technology so fascinating? We've seen some impressive advancements in recent years. Did you know that in 2014 the Navy installed the first laser on a ship for sea trials? The laser was fitted forward on the deck of the USS Ponce, and to the untrained eye, it looked like a simple telescope. But don't let its unassuming appearance fool you. This laser delivered some serious firepower. During tests, it successfully took out a small speedboat and a drone with ease, leaving no visible damage behind. The Navy didn't stop there, though. In 2019, they introduced a stronger laser for further trials. And just last year, they installed their first permanent laser on a destroyer, the Arleigh Burke-class USS Preble. Developed by Lockheed Martin, this laser is no joke. It has a 60 kilowatt power output that integrates with the ship's advanced radar and weapons control system. The Navy calls it Helios, and it has the potential to be incredibly effective against drones and small surface ships. It's safe to say that the Navy is facing a daunting challenge stopping incoming cruise missiles and hypersonic weapons traveling at speeds beyond comprehension. The Navy needs something incredibly powerful to stop these threats in their tracks. Lasers might be the solution. But it's not exactly as simple as that. These missiles are designed to withstand the high heat inherent to supersonic flight, so the lasers will have to fire with enough intensity to rapidly burn through these heat-resistant substances. To take down cruise missiles, the Navy estimates it needs at least a 300 kilowatt laser. Plus, they need enough power to overcome the effect of atmospheric turbulence on the laser and quick identification of the precise target point on an inbound missile traveling at 1 mile per second. The Navy's experimental weapon, Hellcat, might just be the answer. It's a high-energy laser capable of shooting down incoming anti-ship cruise missiles, and the Navy plans to begin testing it as early as next year. But even this might not be enough to stop hypersonic missiles flying at speeds of up to Mach 10, which can withstand temperatures of 1700 degrees Fahrenheit or hotter. For those, the Pentagon may need a 1 megawatt laser, more than 3 times the power of Hellcat. Northrop Grumman has been awarded a contract to develop a laser that combines several laser beams into one powerful ray. This could be the technology that saves the world's most powerful Navy from the rapid emergence of China's anti-ship weapons. Will the Navy be able to develop the sci-tech into a powerful and reliable defense? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, they're betting big on lasers. It's fascinating to think about how much more powerful these lasers could become in the future. The future's looking brighter, or perhaps darker, than ever before.